This is the Barbados Today morning news for Wednesday, November 13. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Attorney General Dale Marshall has pointed to a serious social problem in Barbados that is reflected in the unprecedented number of homicides. Marshall was responding to last Friday's fatal stabbing of 16-year-old Timario Holder by a 15-year-old student at the Frederick Smith Secondary School. He told reporters last night that Police Commissioner Tyrone Griffith has been meeting with officials from the Ministry of Education to discuss a possible solution to violence at schools.
What we're seeing is a growing number of young people involved in the taking of human life. This is the youngest one that we have at this point in time. But earlier this year we had an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. And if we look at the statistics, we will see that the average age of the persons charged with perpetrating homicides is dropping lower and lower and lower. Now, this is not about us and them, this is not about the government isn't doing, this is about how we as a society have failed our young people. I'm not going to portion blame, but you know, children are born of a household. And I really think that at some point in time we need to start to grapple with what that means.
Marshall added that government will be introducing intervention programs for 500 of the most at-risk households in a bid to avoid a recurrence of last week's incident.
We've determined that the Ministry of Social Care should draw out those 500 most at-risk households and get a social program in place so that those households can work their way out of those difficulties. Now, something as simple as that will make a difference. It isn't a case where we have thousands of criminals in Barbados. We have a small number of criminals in Barbados, but this small number of criminals breeding more in terms of encouraging young people, in terms of pregnancy, encouraging more young people to get involved in criminal activity.
But while government is taking steps to stamp out violence in schools, one teacher says there will be more killings. The teacher, who asked to remain anonymous, gave their views at a meeting of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union yesterday. In an emotional speech, the teacher said since witnessing the horrific incident, they have not slept and their mental health has been affected. They also called on their colleagues to take a stand and suggested that they boycott respective schools until their concerns are addressed. In other news this morning, CEO of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, is hoping that last week's flooding in St. Lucie will not affect the supply of vegetables for Christmas. Farmers in the north say their crops were nearly wiped out by the heavy rain. Paul told Barbados Today the BAS will continue to monitor the situation.
Certainly in those areas, crops such as tomatoes, we're watching to see what's going to happen because, you know, St. Lucie is a heavy producer of vegetables. And we're going to look and revisit and see exactly what impact it would have had. Some areas will be different to others because some places have extremely good drainage, so you would not have had that amount of water settlement. Others were not like that. The other thing is too that we have to watch very carefully from the whole question of drainage is the loss of soil cover. All of those things are very important that we need to address. But going into Christmas, hopefully farmers usually gear for Christmas in terms of crops and vegetables. So we should see ample supplies of crops and vegetables for householders around Christmas time.
One government minister is knocking international agencies that blacklisted Barbados and other Caribbean countries for being non-compliant with international tax regulations. Earlier this year, the European Union removed Aruba, Barbados and Bermuda from its blacklist of tax havens. EU finance ministers said the list was aimed at preventing tax evasion and promoting fiscal transparency and international standards against tax base erosion. But Minister of Maritime Affairs Kirk Humphrey told Parliament that he found it unconscionable that such action was taken against Caribbean countries that have ensured compliance. He was speaking during debate on the Land Tax Amendment Bill.
We were blacklisted not because we had done anything wrong, but because we had, sir, not according to the OECD and according to other persons, sir, not adjusted to suit them. And that every time we adjust, the goalpost is moved somehow, and we must readjust. And it seems that no matter whatever we do, enough is not good enough. And we keep making changes, sir, to our tax policy, sir, to be able to suit them.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Root Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Trinidad's National Security Minister, Stuart Young, says lawmen have seized 841 firearms so far this year. And according to him, that's evidence that the Twin Island Republic is becoming a war zone. He was speaking in the Senate.
There is absolutely no legitimate reason whatsoever to be in possession of an illegal firearm. As I've said here before and in the other place, the only reason a person is in possession of a firearm is to kill somebody. A firearm is not a toy.
The Young spoke about the use of AR-15 assault rifles in this country and referred to 2 cases earlier this year in which a number of AR-15 assault rifles were seized by police in Trinidad and Tobago. He said the AR-15 is a weapon of war and was used for a number of mass shootings in the U.S.
Parliament is now in possession of AR-15s. And I guarantee everyone in this Senate here today, Madam President, without fear of contradiction, that God forbid any one of you or your family members are told that criminal X has been put into possession of AR-15s to kill you. How you would feel at night.
On the international scene, Bolivia's former leader, Evo Morales, has landed in Mexico, pledging to keep up his political fight as security forces at home quelled unrest over his resignation. The country has also been seeking an interim replacement to fill a power vacuum. We get more in this Reuters report.
On Monday, Mexico's Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard said Morales would be given safe passage out of Bolivia.
Les informo.
Several minutes ago, I got a phone call from President Evo Morales responding to our invitation to request political asylum in our country. The Interior Minister made the decision to give asylum to Evo Morales on humanitarian grounds, and given the emergency situation in Bolivia, his life and his integrity are at risk.
Ebrard later confirmed a government plane was taking Morales to Mexico. In a tweet, Morales vowed to return, quote, with more strength and energy. Mexico has also joined a handful of other left-leaning Latin American countries in calling Morales' exit a coup that stands against the position of the United States. President Donald Trump called Morales' resignation a significant moment for democracy that sent a signal to, quote, illegitimate regimes in Venezuela and Nicaragua.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good morning.